Good morning, fans. Welcome back to my world of stuff. Friday morning. I don't know about you, but busted makes me feel good. Welcome back. Well, it's Friday afternoon, the 22nd of March 2024, and I'm back from seeing Ghostbusters Frozen Empire at my local View cinema this morning. I'll be talking about it in a moment. Before I do, just to give you a little bit of update on me and my health. Getting there slowly but surely. Still got a little bit of my cough left and a little bit of the pain in my side from when I pulled the muscle. But every day, in every way, I'm getting better and stronger. I'm feeling a bit perky, I'm feeling a bit more lively. So hopefully the next couple of days, quiet couple of days, we'll finish it off once and for all. Right, that's me sorted. Let's talk about Ghostbusters. Who you're going to call. Does this film make you feel good? Etc, etc. Right, as I think I mentioned, because I checked last night, on my review for the last Ghostbusters film, Afterlife, back in 2021, I've never been a massive Ghostbusters fan. It's one of those franchises that I watched and I think, yeah, that's fine. The first film is a very different film to the later films. Actually, certainly these most recent films, it's much edgier and a little bit naughtier than we might remember it to be. We always think of Ghostbusters as this sort of family-friendly thing, but it's got a bit of an edge to it. Of course, we're talking about a film that's now 40 years old because the whole franchise is celebrating its 40th anniversary. And the cast at the time, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and of course Ernie Hudson, they were younger men and at the sort of edge of comedy, if you like. I think a lot of them had been in things like Saturday Night Live, they'd cut their teeth on that sort of thing. Their comedy was a bit spikier. So the film has an edge that makes it less family-friendly than you might remember. I'm not going to even talk about Answer the Call from 2016, because one, I never saw it. I gave it a few minutes, but thought, that's not for me. And I enjoyed Afterlife in 2021 for what it was. But Ghostbusters doesn't really float my boat as such. I know it's iconic, the theme is iconic, the car is iconic, the proton packs are iconic, but it never really resonated with me in a major way. So I went to see Frozen Empire this morning, hoping for a good time, not necessarily expecting to be converted to the Ghostbusters church, but just hoping to see a good entertaining film. And by and large, that's what I got. I enjoyed the film much in the way as I enjoyed Afterlife. I went to see it, thought, yeah, that's okay, but it didn't change my life, didn't rock my world, didn't fly to the top of my best films of the year list, as indeed this one won't. It's perfectly serviceable. It's another Ghostbusters film. And that, in a way, is part of the problem I had with it, because it is another Ghostbusters film. If you remember, in the previous film was set out in Oklahoma. We met the Spengler family. Carrie Coon as the mother. Callie with the son, Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, playing Trevor. And McKenna Grace playing young Phoebe and various associates and friends. They sort of reintroduced the Ghostbusters concept, they reinvigorated it, and the film finished up with a nice call back to the previous Ghostbusters films with reappearances from the remaining cast members and slightly sickly tribute, which bordered on the bad taste, to Harold Ramis, who passed away a couple of years before. And then it sort of set up this new generation of Ghostbusters now who will carry the torch forward and wear the mantle of the Ghostbusters and set off on new adventures. It doesn't quite happen on Frozen Empire because the film doesn't seem to have the courage of the convictions of its new cast and won't leave the past alone. We're now in New York. The Spengler family have relocated to New York and they've set up the Ghostbusters again. They're working for the same firehouse. They're using the same car and the same gadgets. They're pulling the same tricks. And it starts off quite entertainingly with this car chase around New York as they chase this ghost creature. That's another thing I've had about Ghostbusters. They call these things ghosts, but a lot of the things that they chase are actually just monsters, sort of ghostly monsters. We don't necessarily see ghosts as such. We see demons and creatures, but these are very much sort of monsters. But that's by the by. So they're chasing this creature and they catch it and they cause chaos. And the film then sets out its stall as a film about the mayor who wants to close down the Ghostbusters because they cause chaos wherever they go. and young Phoebe is 15 years old, and her family, including Paul Rudd as Gary Gruberson, who is, of course, Callie's new boyfriend. He's trying to find his feet as a father of the family, and he's trying to pull rank and trying in his own way to exercise control, parental control. And that's quite sweet, that's quite nice. It sort of emphasises those problems that new fathers or fathers who step into established families have in trying to make themselves the father figure, and that pays off a little bit later on. So we get McKenna Grace as Phoebe, who's 15. She wants to be one of the Ghostbusters. She's more advanced in her years, but she gets left behind because she's 15, and not unreasonably, it's felt that she shouldn't really be part of a dangerous situation like the Ghostbusters. And this is how the film rattles along for a good 40 minutes. And you sort of think, well, when's something Ghostbustery going to happen? You get little things here and there, but it's very much based on this dynamic. So the pacing is a bit all over the place, I will say, in this film. It starts off on a high, then dips and bumps along, and then finally starts to find its feet again when Kumail Nanjiani's character Nadim arrives and displays this sort of golden globe thing he has, which he's just taken it to what he thinks is a local pawn shop. But it's actually one of the older Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd's character, and he wants to get some money for this thing, but Dan Aykroyd recognises it as an ancient artefact which contains this demon creature, which, if released, turns everything it touches to ice. And you'll have seen the trailer with these very spectacular scenes of a huge wall of ice rolling towards New York and great shards of ice popping up everywhere, and the trailer, of course, makes that look like a centrepiece of the film. It's actually not. It's some quite small sequences towards the end of the film, but it takes a hell of a long time to get there. Hell of a long time. And I think the problem is that, much as I like these new Ghostbuster characters, I don't like them enough to sort of spend that much time with them without anything else going on. And the main issue beyond all that is that the film won't let go of the past. It won't let go of the previous Ghostbusters because they all turn up again. I already mentioned Dan Aykroyd's character turns up. We get Ernie Hudson back. We get Bill Murray coming back. Bill Murray, I suppose, is the selling point for this film in a way. But my God, he looks bored. He looks as if he's just there waiting for his cheque to clear. There's very little of, in fact, there's none of the cheeky spark that you had in that first film. He's just doing the Bill Murray Ghostbusters thing, and towards the end of the film, when he's involved in the set piece climax, he just looks genuinely completely disconnected from everything. He just almost looks as if he's not there. So that's my main issue with the film, I think, really, is that having set up this new characters and the Spengler family, it's a shame that the film couldn't let them fly, couldn't let them set off on their own new adventures and find their own feet, find their own way, tell their own stories. It is dragged back by its past. There are lots and lots of callbacks. There's a sort of a scene early on, which is a TV report, which just consists entirely of flashbacks to the first film and music and lots of little cues and things. I mean, there's a scene which is quite amusing or extremely embarrassing, where Paul Rudd speaks some of the lyrics of the Ghostbusters song to Callie, which is sort of, you smile at it, but you sort of think, oh, that's just so on the nose. And again, at the end, the credits roll over the original Ghostbusters theme. It is very much a film that's sort of hanging on to the past as a security blanket, whether it's not confident enough to fly solo, or whether it's make us think that they don't want to let go of these characters from the past, particularly because they feel that there's mileage in those characters. But at the end of the day, I sort of enjoyed it. It passed the time. I did drift a little bit in those early bits when you're waiting for things to happen. I sort of metaphorically drumming my fingers on the table, but it's quite well performed, it's well made, it's bright and breezy, it's certainly very family friendly. It was quite nice at the end of the film. Some youngsters at the front row, I saw that one or two of them had replica Ghostbusters costumes on, and I sort of thought, well, yeah, that's probably the audience for this, really, that sort of youngsters who watched Afterlife and really enjoyed it. And I just wish there was more purely for them, rather than all the nostalgia, which I think it's time to leave all that behind now. But it's reasonably enjoyable. There are issues, as I say, with the tone and the pace, and all the nostalgia just gets a bit wearing. But it's not a bad film. It's not a great film. It's not one that will be, again, it won't be in my top 10 list of the year. And when I come to my top 10 list of the year, I'll be looking back and thinking, oh yeah, Ghostbusters came out. But it's it's another Ghostbusters film. Basically, if you like Ghostbusters, you will probably enjoy this. But if you like Ghostbusters and would like it to go in a slightly different direction, you'll find it frustrating. That's Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is in your cinemas now. I'm going to give it... Well, I reviewed it for StarburstMagazine.com and I gave it 6 out of 10. 3 out of 5. Mainly because the magazine doesn't do halves. And in fact, I'm going to stick to that here. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. It's better than 5, but it's no better than 6. You'll probably have some fun with it. Right, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this little video. I am back now. There'll be more stuff coming up soon. It's been a bit spotty the last week or so, as I say, because I've just been feeling a bit rough, but the energy levels are coming up, so there will be more stuff coming up very, very soon. If you've liked this video, if you've just discovered this channel because you wanted to hear what somebody you've never heard of thought of Ghostbusters, why not like and subscribe? Press that little thing in the corner there to subscribe and leave a comment down below. That'd be wonderful. If you've seen Ghostbusters, let me know what you thought of it. If you're planning to see it, what are your expectations? Don't make them too high. Right, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Until I do, keep taking the stuff.